Obviously, the new cabinet is not Trudeau's first choice for a cabinet. No, it's his only choice. Trudeau is discovering that when you inevitably betray everyone who works for you, eventually no one's going to want to work for you. So, as Trudeau's old cabinet abandons him, he has to appoint these political members whom we've never heard of to their positions. Let's hear what they had to say.
Is the Prime Minister, has he shared the plan with you about how his reflection is going to go? Are you confident he's going to stay on until the next election?
Well, I think it's important that the PM speaks.
Oh, it's very important that the PM speaks. But of course, the Prime Minister isn't speaking. He has spoken since all of this has happened, what, twice? Once at a Liberal holiday party and the other time at a Liberal convention or something like that, where he said it's been a tough week, it's been a tough few days, but we're going to push through it because we're like a family, which of course is one of the biggest jokes that Trudeau has told all year. It's critical that a Prime Minister speaks and talks to Canadians. Apparently, Canadians are the one who elected Trudeau, and yet he's nowhere to be found. That's because Trudeau is a coward. And so instead of answering questions like a man, he prefers to, pawn off the task to these members of parliament, those who work in the Liberal government.
In terms of what he's going to do, he has certainly he's heard caucus members. There's a meeting earlier this week, and he will continue to listen to caucus members as well.
Nice. So Trudeau's heard caucus members when they've said, hey, it's time for you to resign. It's time for you to go. Canadians don't want you in your position anymore. And that's been true for a long time now. So Trudeau's heard all of those members. He's heard them. Well, wonderful. How did he respond? Well, he filled his cabinet with yes men and women. He filled his cabinet with those individuals who will say, yes, Trudeau. Yes, Trudeau. Oh, yes, Trudeau. That's how he responded. Lots of diversity there. Trudeau loves to talk about how diverse his party is. He loves to talk about how the strength of the Liberals is their diversity and their differing opinions and how they can have those tough conversations and yet continue to push through. And it's like, well, your cabinet's not going to have any of those conversations because they're just members who completely agree with everything you say so they can get nice pension checks and enjoy a healthy income for the time being. That doesn't sound very diverse to me. That doesn't sound like there's a whole bunch of differing opinions. And we know this is the case because Dominic LeBlanc yesterday talked about why would Trudeau resign when he has complete support from cabinet? So obviously, these must be members who totally support Trudeau. Why they support him, I don't know, but they do.
As cabinet ministers, and I think it's important that over the next few weeks, he reflects on what he wants to do. But he's also...
What does Trudeau reflect on? What he wants to do, says the minister here. Well, we know what Trudeau wants to do. He wants to turn Canada into a socialist Orwellian landscape. That's what Trudeau wants to do. Do I have proof of that? Yeah, look at his policies over the last 10 years. What does Trudeau want to do? He wants to completely tear down Canada, and he wants to turn it into a microcosm of the world where every single culture lives here in this nation. Now, apparently, they're all going to live in harmony here, even though, of course, across the world they don't do so, but it's different in Canada. That's what Trudeau wants to do. He wants to tear down the vision of what Canada is supposed to be and what it truly is and replace it with his own contemptible ideals. That's what he wants.
Make sure that we focus on Canadians, what's happening in
We're going to focus on Canadians, says the minister. We will have to make sure that we keep focusing on Canadians. And it's like, yeah, making sure Canadians are suffering. That's what they're focused on. They're focused on Canadians and making sure they can't make rent, can't pay for groceries, can't pay for gasoline. Why? So that all people in this country are forced to go to the government and say, please, can you provide for my needs? That's what the government wants. They want bigger government and more government control, more government involvement in our everyday lives, so that those members of government make themselves seem like saviors. They make themselves seem so desperately necessary, and that without them, we'd be living in a world of chaos, as if all of, or at least most of, the economic and other trials and tribulations that have afflicted this nation for the past little while now aren't or don't come from government.
The next few weeks is important, very consequential to Canada, very consequential to our relationship with the U.S., and that's what we need to be focusing on.
So the difference in imagination, the difference in intellect, the difference in competency between this government and other governments around the world is staggering. Now, the truth is most, if not all governments are totally incompetent, but this one stands out among the rest. This one stands out in what we hear. When we see what they're doing, when we see who is in the position or who are in the positions they're in, we are stunned to see that Canada still functions at all, to be honest. The fact that Canada functions at all with a leadership like this is a miracle, nothing short of a miracle.
Do you think he's the best choice to lead the party in the next election?
Do you have a timeline from the Prime Minister on when he'll make his decision?
You've heard him. He is.
We haven't.
Nope, actually, we haven't heard him. And I think a reporter says that, or just said that too. Nope, we haven't heard Trudeau. And so what? No timeline, I guess, on when he's going to make his decision?
He has indicated that he will reflect on what he's heard
No timeline.
from Canadians. And in terms of your question, Ryan, you'd asked.
Do you think he's the best choice to lead the party in the next election?
I ran because of Justin Trudeau. I will run again because of Justin Trudeau.
Is Trudeau the best person to lead the Liberal government or Liberal Party in the next election? Well, it depends on your term or your version of best. What does that mean in your ideals? If you think the best leader is the one who will generate a socialist abyss for Canada, then Trudeau's your guy. Yeah, if your version of best is a leader who will completely destroy what this country is, what it's meant to be, what it's supposed to be, what it was founded on, Trudeau's your leader. If that's your version of best, then you follow him to the end of the earth. But if instead you believe in the principles of freedom, justice, truth, transparency, the inherent rights of man, the supremacy of God, the Constitution or a Constitution, the rule of law, all of these rational ideas, common sense, then Trudeau is the farthest thing from the best leader for any party heading into the next election. He is the last person you would want leading your enterprise.
The upcoming election.
That doesn't answer the question, sir. Do you think he's the best choice to lead the party to the next election?
I believe that.
It's a yes or no.
Yes, I do believe that.
Okay. And how do you continue to govern with the NDP pulling support?
So he thinks Trudeau is the best leader to lead the country or lead at least the party in the next election. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Government is tenacious. Government is ruthless. It's not as though they're going to give up their power willingly or happily or easily. That isn't the way government works, especially when they've been entrenched as long as Justin Trudeau's party and Justin Trudeau himself have been entrenched in their positions. Make no mistake, there is no true loyalty in politics. Not at all. You are used as long as you are useful. And once your usefulness has run out, all of those members who once served you and adored you, just as the Liberal government members served and adored Trudeau and said, oh, he's the best thing Canada's ever had. He's a wonderful leader. He's brilliant. He has all of these great and fantastic ideas and we'll follow him all of our days. Totally abandon you.